Guys, I'm making this video today for personal trainers who want to know how to sell. It doesn't matter what stage you're at of the selling process or what stage you're at in your career. These are critical points. They're things that have taken me 20 years to get to know. I've spent a lot of money and I've also tested these theories myself, and they work. And when you're doing it, you've got to make sure, I have to say also, that you are coming from a place of actually putting the client's results first and putting the client first, which is so critical, because if you're doing it with the feeling of, I've got to accumulate as many clients as I can, I need to sell as many people into my programs as I can, it's numbers focused, and I can't say too much that it's clearly the wrong intention. Whenever my girls, for example, I'm just going to give you this bit of insight, whenever they want more clients, and this is because this is how I've always operated in the past, whenever you want more clients, I want you to think about the following. Think about, how can you currently help the clients that you've got more? And also, how can you make the stuff that you're currently delivering to your clients even better? And who else can you help, and what problems do they have that you can help them, that you can help solve? And it really does get to be quite a simple breakdown like that, because when you're focused on giving more, you will obviously get more. You will, and you'll also get more opportunities. So I feel like I'm stating the obvious, but you know, based on a discussion I just had with one of my trainers, this really isn't obvious. And it's a shame that there are books out these days actually telling people to be nice people, and that's how you get clients, because duh, of course. So let's just talk about it from the sales process perspective. Okay, here are 4 things, and I want you to write these down. Here are 4 things to not do during the sales conversation, and I'm going to tell you what to do instead. So 4 things to not do are to make sure you are not coaching the person. What I mean is, when the client might say blah blah blah, then don't go into blah 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 to fix it. Just don't do it. Don't do it. You will kill the sale. They are going with some momentum. It's more important that you listen. The second thing is, you need to get good at understanding what questions to ask them. And it's more important that you're asking questions than you're talking and explaining things. You get to think about yourself as the total professional in the field, just like any kind of doctor, for example. And a doctor wouldn't diagnose any kind of prescription without first asking probably an enormous amount of questions. And you know what it's like if you went into a situation where you were saying to the doctor, look, I've got this rash and blah, blah, blah about my rash, then they actually would be probably, getting in trouble for malpractice if they didn't ask you enough questions. So it's really, really important that you ask lots of good quality questions. To understand what questions to ask, actually, if you comment below, I'll make sure I give you some questions to ask, because that's another whole video. However, if you understand the problems that you solve with your clients, that the solution that you provide, what are the problems and the symptoms that you actually solve? So in your business and your services, when you know what those problems are, then you ask questions to enable that person to discover the answers to the questions, rather than saying blah, 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 this is what I do. Ask questions, because it's an interview process, really, not a sale. So get rid of that bad connotation of that word, if that's what you feel like at the moment as well. And understand that it's as much an interview process as it is a sale, because you don't actually have to work with the person, sorry. Which brings me to the next point. It's really important that you know who it is that you're going to work with. So third point, know who it is that you're going to work with, and therefore who you're not going to work with. That's a really critical list, actually, of who you're going to work with and who you're not. And again, it brings me back to the 4th point, which is, you must actually care. Now, I've just run through a list of 4 things that I want you to do. So no coaching while you're in the conversation, which could be a sale. Well, very little coaching anyway. Make sure you're asking the right questions. Establish beforehand who you work with and who you don't. And obviously come at it from the perspective that you care. Okay? So please also know then, if you're a person that's really not into sales and you're watching this, that it is actually possible to get good at it and come at it from a perspective that you do just actually care. So on the flip side of those things to not do, so if you're not coaching, it means instead you are listening, and the percentage of the conversation should be mainly listening. You should be mainly listening as the person doing the potential interview / sale. As far as asking questions, you need to know what problems you solve. So figure that out. Write a list. What are the symptoms that your clients have? What are the problems that you solve? And how do you help them? So in this consultation though, do not go into how you help them. Okay, that is critical. And this is gold, by the way. Do not sell to everyone. The third thing, remember, is know who you want as to work with as a client, know who you will help, and therefore who you won't. So it's really important to not enroll everybody. You can't help everybody, and therefore you can't help everybody. So find somebody else that you can send them to. If you can't help them, find somebody else that you can send them to, or maybe send them on their way with homework. I've done that plenty of times. I've referred out and I've sent people away with homework for plenty of times in several different businesses. Now, the flip side of actually caring, and I can't tell you how to do this, it's just going to be inside you or it's not. But the flip side of that is that don't count just the targets of numbers of people that you're signing up. However, most people I speak to, most trainers actually aren't counting anything and they're just like throwing shit everywhere. Please make sure that you do actually count the numbers of inquiries, where they're coming from, and the sales that you're making. You can still do all of that while you actually care, as long as you care more than you care about counting. And if you've got any questions, please write them below. Please share this video with anybody you think could actually benefit from it. And if you want to know about any other topics, please write below as well, and I'll make some videos on that.